it's not.
No, it's
no,
not.
It's not.
How do I turn the brightness up, though? Oh, look at you go. Look at you go.
Sometimes.
Okay.
Blind girl problems.
Now, if I can just figure out how to change the little mousy thing right here into something bigger than what looks like a capital I. Because that thing gets lost and I'm swimming around and doing all kinds of stuff and I can't find the darn thing.
And then I don't have 4 eyes like some of us do.
Ooh,
so I
snap.
can't see all as well as some of us. So,
you
know.
get your contacts in.
I have no contacts. This is just God and me.
Are you flying blind tonight?
I'm flying solo.
Is the text big enough for you?
It is.
Oh,
Actually, I can read.
Well, it's a good thing we're doing our special thing tonight.
I know, right?
I know we're doing something special tonight, people. We haven't told you yet. I don't know if we're gonna. We may just do it, but you're in for a treat tonight. Okay. So how was the
As a child back at a Santa Claus event, you know.
Really?
Instead of smoking with Santa Claus, it was smoking with the Grinch or something, or
Okay.
something cooler than that. Some cooler way to say that, but it was awesome. There were infused gingerbread cookies, infused hot chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure infused meals, and I didn't partake in that because I had too many cookies, but it was awesome, and there were giveaways.
What do we always preach, Doc? Start low, go slow.
Start low, go slow.
Yes, we practice what we preach.
It's so hard. Easier said than done.
Well, that's true. I think for just about anything.
Facts. No printer.
I forgot how itchy this darn thing is.
You changed on us.
I know. Well, it was the first day of winter today, so I figured I'd break out the wool sweater.
Today was the first day?
Today's the first day of winter.
I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
No wonder.
Frost all over my car when I went out there.
It all makes sense. But I've been thinking it's been winter since the leaves started falling. I'm pretty dramatic with weather. When it starts getting cold, I'm ready to go. But for some reason, I'm still here.
Ready to go like you're a human barometer?
Ready to go to the beach. Somewhere.
Okay. Ready to bug out like Ted Cruz?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go there. I'm sorry. That just popped. That popped out. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay. How we looking over there, senior producer? We got 2, and well, anybody we can say hi to? I know if we got 2 people watching, we got 2 people we can say hi to.
I know. Give a little shout out of something. Something. A reward for bearing with us.
Oh, too much silence. Go ahead.
Did you do anything yesterday?
Yesterday, what did I do? I did laundry.
Oh, laundry.
Yeah.
I love that for you. And I was high as a kite.
Well, I was high as a kite too.
Oh, okay.
But,
fair.
The bachelor that I am, it's incumbent upon me to do my own laundry, my own dishes, vacuum, stuff like that. So I cleaned up around my place.
Love that.
Mm-hmm. I'm fully domesticated. My mother made sure.
Ladies, you hear that? This is a single man. He's cleaning. He's got it all. He's got it going on. He can cook.
I can cook.
Yes.
I'm a pretty good cook too.
All right. Oh yeah, you can. I remember from
garlic mashed potatoes from Feel Giving.
That was fire. Okay, y'all. So
what do you say we start the show, huh, Doc?
I guess. Yeah, let's give it a whim. Let's give it a go.
Let's go. Good evening, No. I just got called off by the catcher. I was ready to throw a pitch and I just got called off.
So close.
Okay. Well, let's make sure that that's right in the right place. What's going on? We're having slight technical difficulties, folks. Apologize for that. The sound is not working on Instagram. We're using Dr. Bex's phone tonight because Mitch, our intake manager, wasn't able to make it tonight. We usually use his telephone. So Doc's taking a look right now. Normally this is where we'd have one of the little signs that come up with the sort of bullseye thing. Please bear with us. I miss the days of old-time TV, don't you?
Times are hard. hard.
You're too young to miss old-time TV.
I remember old-time TV.
Yeah?
That time when it would have different colors on the screen, when it was like
Do you remember
broken?
the transition from black and white to color? I do.
No.
I remember coming home the day I came home from middle school.
Oh, Lord.
And there was a color TV in the living room. We used to have a black and white, and it was the greatest thing in the world for my brother and me to see a color television set.
The greatest thing in the world?
It was.
I thought sliced bread was the greatest thing in the world.
No, color television.
Okay.
Color television.
All right. Old school. Like.
No school like the old school.
Whatevs. No school like the new school. I can school you a little bit.
Instagram not working?
I turned the sound down. Hi. All right.
Again, technical difficulty. Sorry, folks. Are there two people still hanging in there, Corey? Who are they so I can say hi to them? David. Hi, David. We really appreciate you watching. Are there any questions? Okay, David, let me ask you while I'm talking to you. Are there any topics you would like to see us here on the Fields tackle? And Dr. Bex and I can... Oh, Josh can hear?
I am Josh 314 says that's better.
Josh 314. Yes. All right.
Thank you, Josh, for the feedback.
Okay.
So it's working?
All right, so I guess we got it working now.
All right. I think we're
Oh,
good.
look over to here for a second. And... Oh, okay. And...
We can hear you now.
Fantastic. All right, so let's start over. This is episode 8. Today is December 20th of 2021. Thank God this year is almost over. We are talking tonight about cannabis etiquette. Good evening, everybody. Every Monday around this time, Dr. Bex and I discuss another cannabis-related topic. And as I said at the top of the show, we're talking about etiquette. Now, the dictionary definition of etiquette is the customary code of polite behavior in society or among members of a particular profession or group.
When it comes to cannabis, the etiquette is real. There are behaviors that have been passed down from generation to generation. There are new behaviors to consider as cannabis consumption becomes the norm. Since cannabis levels the playing field and reminds us that we are, after all, sharing the same experiences, it is important that we discuss responsible cannabis behavior. Let's start with some old school etiquette.
Now, there are a couple, old school. There are a couple of cardinal rules of cannabis that are as old as time. One of them is puff, puff, pass. Yes, I said pass, not give. Despite Chris Tucker's insistence that Ice Cube puff, puff, give, that phrase has a very declarative feel to it. Kind of like, give me that shh. Not a very polite thing to say whether or not you're providing the cannabis.
Puffing before you pass is a perfectly acceptable thing to do, whether you provided the cannabis or not. However, if your smoking circle has quite a few people in it, you might want to ask she who provided it if puffing is cool. If it's not, take a single puff and pass it. Which leads up to the next cardinal rule: pass the Dutchie on the left-hand side.
We've all heard the song. Released in 1982 by Musical Youth, Pass the Dutchie laid out the Rastafarian custom of passing the Dutchie, or cannabis, in a counterclockwise motion, or to the left. Funny thing is, a Dutchie is a Jamaican cooking pot, or a Dutch master blunt. Pass the Dutchie is actually a reworking of the Mighty Diamonds song, Pass the Cutchie, which is patois for a container that holds the cannabis.
Wow. Another old school cardinal rule is don't Bogart.
Ever.
If someone passes you the Dutchie, puff, puff, pass it. Don't regale us with stories from your life in between hits. All that talking is burning precious cannabis. And when you puff, puff, pass it, don't pass it covered in spit. No one wants your slobber on their lips, let alone the joint.
Preach.
If you must moisten your lips so the joint won't stick, do the rest of us a solid favor and dab your lips on your sleeve after.
By the same token, ladies, no lipstick or the like. Cannabis tastes wonderful on its own without tasting grape or green apple juicy lip gloss. It's the same reason I don't care for flavored rolling papers. Cannabis has a bounty of terpenes that taste great on their own without a strawberry or a papaya wrap. Right, Doc?
Look, y'all, Jeff's making fun of me because I like flavored Juicy J wraps. However, that's improper etiquette of him to disclose. It's perfectly okay to have preferences about your consumption, whether it's preferring glass to paper for smoking or using solventless extracts. Something else we don't want to taste are your germs. If you're sick, do the responsible thing and don't attend the sesh. We live in times of COVID, y'all. It's just like staying home from work if you're sick. If you don't, you put your coworkers at risk of illness.
Yeah, why don't we take a moment and let that sink in? Okay, moment's passed. Why don't we let our viewers know about the new products we have here at Feel State Florissant? We just got a pretty good drop of carts from Heartland Labs. Northern Lights, Grape Ape Time Skunk, and Lemon Fatso. Heartland also changed some of the vape packaging. Lemon Fatso now comes wrapped in a Mylar bag.
We also have Ratio's active pens back in stock. These 20-to-1 THC dominant, disposable, rechargeable pens also have a terpene profile of limonene, linalool, alpha-pinene, beta-myrcene, beta-pinene, and geraniol.
Nice.
Geraniol has effective antimicrobial and antibacterial properties. It also has a pleasant rose scent and is itself a great carrier of scents. So look for manufacturers to start using geraniol in topical products.
Now, 3 paragraphs back, you heard Doc say sesh. A sesh, for the newbies, is 2 or more people that gather to break bread, pass the Dutchie, or share cannabis. Now, sometimes a newbie or a non-smoker is invited to the sesh. Make sure you let them know about what to go down. If the smell of cannabis is unpleasant to them, they might not want to attend the sesh. If it's your first sesh, have a sesh buddy. That's a seasoned veteran that is going to have your back and look after you.
A sesh buddy is also responsible for talking someone off the ledge should they overconsume. That's why it's important for those who bring cannabis to let everyone know what they're in for. Explain in as great detail as needed the type of chemovar you are about to share. If it's uplifting, announce to those that might deal with anxiety that microdosing is the best course of action for them.
If it's relaxing, make sure the sesh is taking place where there's something soft to sit on. If it's edibles, let them know the milligrams per dose and what kind of effects they might begin to feel after consumption. Myself, I always feel that little tickle in my stomach when things start to kick in.
Aww. Now, try to be mindful of where the sesh is taking place. If it's outdoors, it's best to have a good relationship with your neighbors because the wind can blow in many directions. And since you're hosting the sesh, make sure you have plenty of snacks and beverages. It's also a good idea to have some CBD on hand in case a guest over-medicates. Kleenex too in case someone begins coughing uncontrollably.
Sounds like Doc is a pretty good hostess, guys. When's the sesh at your house? Let's see. What are some of the other cardinal rules about etiquette? How about sharing? There's a reason the phrase, "a friend with weed is a friend indeed," exists. Not only is it rude not to share your weed, it's downright un-American. By the same token, there's a reason for the phrase, "ass, gas, or grass, nobody rides for free." It's rude to expect the same person to always bring the goodies. So consider chipping in from time to time.
Right, Jeff. That's the reason the song "I Got 5 on It" exists. Here's a great point of etiquette. BYOB. Bring your own bud. And if you're the one that rolled it, you should be the one to spark it, okay? Unless they pass it to you. Even then, don't assume. They may just want you to admire their handiwork.
Now, let's take a moment to remind our viewers that there's still time to sign up for our Homegrow Giveaway. 314 Garden Supply and We Grow Medical are giving away a 3x3 tent, an oscillating fan, soil mix, and nutrients. You can enter each time you make a purchase, and last day to enter is January 24th.
Dang! And from today until the 24th, with every purchase of more than $50, you automatically get 500 loyalty points added to your wallet. Every purchase, Jeff?
Every purchase, Doc. You know what? Why don't we get back to our topic tonight, cannabis etiquette. And this is what we were talking about earlier when we said we were going to do something special. We're just going to go off script. Normally when I write these shows, it's scripted from beginning to end, and we wait until the end when we sort of have the ad-lib discourse. But in researching cannabis etiquette, the list was forever. Our producer, Corey, was very nice enough to check out the book by Emily Post's granddaughter about cannabis etiquette. Everybody should check it out if you have the opportunity to, and a lot of what we're talking about tonight came from there. But we're just going to kind of off the cuff the rest of the list we got. So, first thing we got, corner the bowl.
And that's hard to even imagine because a bowl does not have corners itself. There are no corners. But what we mean is corner the bowl means just lightly light a portion of the bowl to the fact where it won't light the entire portion of the bowl. Just a little bit.
Yeah, save some green. Save some green for some other people out there.
Yeah.
And speaking of saving, you're always going to want to ask if somebody wants the roach. Now, I know there are some states out there, Colorado, Washington, Oregon, that have had a longer head start. And it's very common for them out there to smoke half a joint and discard it because they know they can always roll some fresh. But here in Missouri, where the laws are still fresh, don't just chuck that roach. There's somebody that might want it.
Right. Times are hard, okay? So.
And speaking of Missouri, it's medical use, not adult use. We get at least one phone call a day here from someone wanting to know if they can shop. Unfortunately, adult use only. For the medical people, don't feel like it's okay to light up in public or on the beach. We want to respect the laws that have been put in place, so keep it in the comfort of your own home.
And try not to smoke right in front of a cop. Might be hard for some of y'all. I don't know. We got some wild shenanigans going on here, Feel State wise. But, just don't do that. That's not smart.
You might also want to not smoke in front of a kid. Although I have seen it happen before. Once in person, once on television. On television, it was this documentary called Square Grouper, which is apparently Floridian it's a Floridian slang for a bale of weed that washes up on the beach. And the whole documentary, yeah, I do too. The whole doc was about the old school OGs that used to run Florida weed. And one of them was the Zion Coptic Church in Jamaica. And they ended up moving to Florida and ran all kinds of weed. And when they got interviewed by television stations, they showed shots of these kids just huffing away on these giant spliffs.
Wow. Kids and spliffs. Would have never imagined that one, but...
The second time, the one I saw in person was maybe 20 years ago. I helped shoot a music video for a Rastafarian artist from New York. And he took us down to Brooklyn for part of the shoot, and we got to meet his extended family. And there was a plaque hanging on the wall, and the patron of the family sired 32 children, and each one of their names was on the plaque. And as we were setting up, there were just these kids running around this apartment in Brooklyn, smoking carefree, just like it was a normal thing to do.
Huh, interesting.
So I guess it's cultural, whether or not you're going to want to smoke in front of kids.
I mean, that borderlines with almost smoking while pregnant, like these are subjects that are touchy because there's not enough studies on them. And when there's not enough studies on something, you're not really that comfortable with doing said thing because somebody else didn't do it. You're not going to jump off the cliff unless you saw somebody else do it and survive. So,
but point of etiquette, if you are around a pregnant woman who is smoking, don't just jump on her and say, you shouldn't be doing that, you're going to hurt your kid. It's not up for you to say that.
No.
It is up to you to decide whether or not you want to participate in the sesh. If it bothers you so much that a pregnant woman is smoking, then excuse yourself. If not, enjoy the sesh. Okay. Do we have any questions, Corey, from anybody? No? All right, let's keep going down the list. Good point of etiquette. No peer pressure.
Oh, that's kind of easier said than done when you're the one doing the peer pressuring. I'm talking about myself.
Mm-hmm.
I've been the one, just because I love cannabis so much, I'm guilty of trying to convince everyone to love cannabis as much as I do, and kind of peer pressuring them to get with the program.
But does it always work?
It does not always work, Jeff.
Okay, so maybe, and I've had this issue myself with trying to convince my own family that cannabis is not the evil weed they had thought it to be, but you gotta pick your spots. If you try and bludgeon them over the head with it, you aren't gonna make any headway.
That's facts.
You gotta just, chip away a little bit at a time. So pick your spots. Okay, what else do we got here? Keep an eye on the novices. Yes, we touched on that with the Sesh buddies. If there is a novice in the Sesh, don't let it just be up to the Sesh buddy to keep your eye on them. Always keep your eye out on the newbies.
It just be the polite thing to do. You would have appreciated somebody keeping their eye out on you your first time of consumption. So just pay it forward.
I remember my first Sesh buddy, University of Oklahoma. One of the first times I ever got high, we were walking around campus and I started to become unsteady, and my Sesh buddy grabbed me by the arm and walked me around the rest of campus until we got back.
I love that.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And, Sesh
Chivalry
buddies.
ain't dead.
So keep an eye on the novices. And novices, don't be afraid to decline. Peer pressure goes both ways. If someone's pressuring you, don't be afraid to say, look, I appreciate the invitation, but I'm really not comfortable. So if you don't mind, stop asking me if I'd like to smoke. If they continue to just pass it, then just pass it along the circle.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing says you have to smoke it if it's passed to you.
Right. And if it ain't your mama or if it ain't God, you don't gotta do nothing for nobody, okay? So
that leads us to our next, did we talk about? Yes, passing it on the left-hand side.
Yes,
that's a cardinal one.
Dutchie.
Always pass it on the left. Okay. Here's a good one. Let's say you're in a sesh and someone says, hey, I grew this myself. Tell me what you think. Don't throw it under the bus.
please.
That is horrible. It's like kicking somebody in the stomach or, slapping their child. They took a lot of time, love, care, and effort to grow what they are sharing with you for free of their own free will. So if someone's homegrown is passed to you and it tastes a little like hay, do the polite thing. Say, wow, I'm really enjoying that. Thank you very much. And puff, puff, pass it and pass it along. Right? And if you cough, hey, no big deal. You're going to have to cough. But
I mean, you don't see your homegrown getting passed around, so no complaining, okay? Thank
what
you.
she said, yes. Okay. Here's another good one. For those that don't consume cannabis at a sesh, please don't call us consumers stupid or the like. We were polite enough to invite you to our sesh. Don't insult us because of what we are doing. If you don't like what we are doing, don't accept the invitation. Stay at home. Simple as that. Okay. Let's see. We talked about not passing a joint with spit all over the end of it. By the same token, if a joint is canoeing, you don't want to lick or at the bottom of the canoe. Again, nobody wants your spit.
So first, you have to explain what a canoe is, because I didn't know what a canoe is until I was employed at Feel State.
Okay, would you pass me that marker there, please? Okay, here's your joint. And when you smoke it, part of it gets down to here, but only the bottom part of it right there is actually burning. This stays solid. So it gets down to about here, and the other half of the joint hasn't started burning, hence a canoe. Mm-hmm. Now what we used to do back in the day is lick our finger and put it on the bottom where the canoe ended. But we can't do that anymore. We live in times of COVID. We shouldn't have been doing it to begin with. So what can you do? You can take a lighter and just light the canoe end, the bottom part, where it touched the water.
I'm afraid of wasting the weed.
Well, too bad. It's gonna happen. You should have either rolled a better joint, or the person who had rolled the joint should have done a better job.
Man.
Or it should have been lit better.
Okay. I feel like it was the lighting portion, because, the wind is what makes the fire go whatever way it wants to go, not my rolling. My rolling is heavenly, perfect, and divine. So
there are
it's
4 elements we can blame. Okay, let's see. Oh, the proper way. Okay, so let's say you're in a sesh and someone passes you the joint. Always make sure to see if they ashed prior to passing it to you. It is rude to pass someone a joint with a full-on ash tip at the end. Just do the easy thing, tap, tap, and it falls down, and then pass it to somebody. Nobody wants to clean it off their hands, brush it. You know, I wouldn't want it on my wool sweater here.
True. Ash before you pass. Simple as that.
Okay.
And the next one, I think, is proper way to use roach weed, which is...
Okay, so let's say you've got some roaches and you want to smoke them up. The last thing you want to do is put them in your grinder so you can mix it up. That is disgusting. You are going to get resin all around the inside and flavor every other bud that you are going to put in that grinder. So what do you have to do? You got to tough it out and just use your fingers. Break it up. It's going to be sticky as all, but it's going to be easy to roll into another joint or pinch and put in a bowl, whatever your preference is for smoking it. But yeah, don't add good stuff to the roach weed. It's just a waste.
Sounds nasty too. And
let's see. We talked a lot about newbies. Let's go right onto this one right here.
Yeah, nastiness along with dirty trays. Keep your equipment clean, people. Nobody wants to smoke with dirty bowls, dirty dab rigs. Yeah, nasty bong water. Like, ew. Clean it. Clean some. Do us a favor. Clean. Get some alcohol. Get some water. Get a cotton swab. Do it up. Clean your stuff, and then you can share and make everyone happy and excited to smoke.
See, that's why I keep 3 bowls in rotation. I've got a container where I've got isopropyl alcohol.
Oh, Lord.
And 2 of them are dirty. And then I've got a clean one. Well, if I'm switching between chemovars, I want to taste what the chemovar truly tastes like. So if I'm going to switch from Blue Dream to Grenadine, I don't want to get them mixed up. So I'll put the Blue Dream pipe in the alcohol, clean out a Grenadine pipe, and now I can taste what it tastes like.
You know what? We all got to smoke with you one day. I just want to smoke with you one time. One time at your house. Where I see all your little tools and gadgets. Can't wait.
Let's see. Yeah, so for cleaning isopropyl alcohol, it's also a good idea to have a bottle of grain alcohol, Everclear, on hand.
Everclear?
Yeah, it's 190 proof grain alcohol.
Oh.
They actually changed the label now, saying it's for infusing. It used to say mixing back in the day.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
It should be used for... God knows what. Cleaning? Something? Isn't that kind of alcohol for cleaning? Everclear?
Yeah.
You're talking about the alcohol, right?
I'm talking about the grain alcohol, yeah. I use it to clean the nail on my row cane.
No, I mean like the alcohol that you drink.
You can drink it if you want to. If you want to get rot gut.
Okay. Same thing. Okay.
It's better than Mad Dog 2020, but... Okay, and speaking of stale, nasty beverages, don't ever pass somebody a bong with stale smoke in it. If you cannot clear the chamber, immediately pass it to somebody else so that they can clear it for you. Don't put a lid on it and hang on to it and go, I'll get to it in a second. Pass it on to somebody else, otherwise it's stale.
And who wants stale smoke?
Nobody wants stale smoke.
Does anyone get high off that even? I don't even know. But next one is if you're at a concert. Oh, this is actually for Jeff because Jeff is the concert guru here.
Well, I've got the tinnitus to prove it.
Stop it.
Seriously, I was in the loudest recorded concert in Boston, Massachusetts history when the Black Crowes came to town under an assumed name, the ODG Jubilee Band.
Oh.
They played my favorite song of all time, Blackbird, and they blew my eardrums out. Well, not literally, but I have permanent hearing damage because of that concert.
Aw, Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so sorry.
They also rushed the door, too. I got caught in a mosh and had to fight my way out and then fight my way back into my line when the cops showed up to clear everything out. It was a story for another time.
Hi.
Okay, so speaking of concerts, when you're at a concert, keep your head on a swivel if you're going to smoke because there are people there with flashlights, maybe not want to have you smoke there. What I like to do is, especially in times of COVID, people might be unsure of what it is that you are smoking. So, well, no, let's back up. Bring an extra joint for your row. That's what I meant to say. bring an extra joint for your row. If you want to smoke throughout the entire concert, it's customary to light a joint and pass it down the row so everybody can enjoy the concert. If you do want to do that, awesome. You're a good doobie. Sorry about the pun. But have a joint for yourself you can light afterwards so you can continue to smoke. And that joint that you pass, don't ever expect to get it back. It's there for everybody else.
And our next one is a theme song of Feel State, which is Start Low and Go Slow. We are talking about microdosing and knowing your tolerance, or trying to get to know your tolerance or not reach your tolerance.
Well, you don't want to be that jackass that shows up and eats a 300 milligram chocolate bar, drinks a whole bottle of Keef Cola, and then smokes a big gigantic spliff just so they can prove how big and smoky they are.
Oh gosh, you don't want to be that guy. So
No.
Don't be that guy.
Nobody wants to watch you lose your motor functions.
No. I mean, I literally just the other day, yesterday, at the Cola Lounge, sorry, I'm still high from last night, saw someone roll an eighth into a joint, like a whole eighth of flour in one joint. I'm like, what are you doing?
They are trying to prove that they can roll. God. And they want to smoke a whole eighth. Hey, if it ever gets down to where, it's pennies a gram, you can afford to smoke a whole.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't got it like that.
No, I don't either. Okay, next point of etiquette. If you are making edibles at home, please make sure to label them. Many decades back, a bunch of my buddies gathered at somebody's apartment, and the person who lived in the apartment wasn't there, but his brownies were. Oh. And one of my friends who didn't consume ever ate one of those brownies, and we ended up taking care of him for the rest of the time. So please make sure, label your stuff, put it high up if you got kids, but yeah.
But sometimes people are just hungry and will just eat your stuff. That happened to me back in college. I had a whole situation where a friend of mine ate one of my edibles that I brought along the trip, and I got into trouble for that. Like, it was my problem that she wanted my snacks. But, whatever. I'm over it.
So we got a question over here from John Ray Thomas Roach. What up, dude? So when at a smoke party, is it rude to not participate in a passed joint? I would say it depends upon, if you don't want to smoke, how you pass it along. If you're like, I don't want that shit. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean that. If you're going to be rude about it, then yeah, it is rude. But if you don't want to smoke, just be polite about it and go, oh, thank you so much. I'm not smoking tonight.
So what I do, which is what I've been doing during COVID and kind of pre-COVID too, just because of my germaphobeness and not wanting to smoke with Joe from down the street, who I don't know who he is. So what I do in these preferences, there's two things I do. One, I either pretend to smoke with that person. I will literally take it, it'll be passed to me, and I will literally purse my lips like I'm smoking it. I might get something from it if I, inhale hard enough, but I'm not touching my lips to that person's joint. That's option one. Just fake it till you make it. Option two is to just be like, I'm not in the mood today. I'm not smoking today. Or just make it seem like you're a smoker. You would love to smoke that person's stuff, but you're just not into it at the moment. And I've gotten away with murder plenty of times with this.
Yeah, exactly, Dr. B. Hey. There we go. And everyone brings their own. Yeah.
Exactly. If
BYOB.
you just brought your own stuff in the first place, we wouldn't be in this problem. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that leads us to another really good point of etiquette. Don't pinch off somebody else's weed. This goes for if you live amongst a whole bunch of other people, roommates, college, what have you. Don't pinch your friend's weed. Right. And if you do, at least have the common courtesy to put a buck or so in there.
A buck or a nug when you get it.
Yeah.
Just because, oh my goodness, I run into this a lot because I work for a dispensary. People think that cannabis just grows out of my armpits or something. It's wild, but it's not like that. I'm a patient just like everyone else that comes through the door. I have an allotment just like everyone else that comes in the door. Cannabis does not grow out of my armpits. But, you know, like, I will loan sometimes, you know, people a nug if they're short, and if they were to take it from me, I would be furious. Like, I have had that happen where I knew how much I had. Somebody took a little nug from me. I only know this because it was my favorite flower, so of course I knew how much flower was there. But, you know, I loan weed, so just be respectful. Don't take people's stuff.
Here's another good one. Don't, about being respectful, don't eat and toke. Excuse me. No one wants the mustard or ketchup that you still have on your mouth from the burger you're eating on the joint or the pipe. So wipe your mouth, swallow what's in your mouth.
It's the easiest thing to do.
Oh, yeah. Here's another good one. End of story. I can tell. Don't get your pets high. Just because they have an endocannabinoid system doesn't mean it's okay to just dose them. When I was last in Maine visiting friends, I was gifted a blueberry muffin, a dosed blueberry muffin. And I'm like, oh, thanks. And I put it in my bag and put it down. And end of the night happened. I went to sleep. And when I woke up in the morning, grabbed my bag, got up in the car and went. And my buddy called me about an hour into the trip. He goes, hey, do you still have that blueberry muffin? And I'm like, yeah, why? He goes, can you look in your bag for it? So I look in the bag. I'm like, hey, it's not here. What happened? He goes, yeah, that's what I thought. My dog ate it. So when I was asleep at night, the bag was on the floor. The dog went in it, and this was a pretty young dog. Yeah. He was okay. Hopefully he learned his lesson not to go rooting around in other people's things. But I should have been the responsible one and put that thing up higher. So it's kind of my fault.
So, but no puppies were harmed in this story?
No puppies were harmed in this story. He's just fine.
Awesome.
Okay. I think we're going to wrap it up there. Okay. That's what we're going to do. Next week, we are going to stay off script again. We are going to show you, we're going to role play what it's like for a patient to come in and have an experience here at Feel State. Dr. Bex is going to be our host. I'm going to be our bud tender. One of our employees is going to be our patient. It should be fun, so please tune in next time around 5:30ish on Monday for episode 9 of The Feels.
Whoa, 9.
9.
Wow, we getting somewhere.
Number 9.
Hey.
Number 9. Number 9. Number
Is that
9.
a song?
That's a Beatles song, Revolution number 9. Second to last song on the White Album.
I don't know the
You
Beatles.
got to expand your musical knowledge, Doc.
I know gospel.
I played Beatles here the other day all day long.
I'm sure you did.
I did. It was
And
great.
I'm
I
sure
even
I
played
was
the
here.
Wine album.
I would have loved to be there.